little backwards on our first demonstration. We did the head first because there was a lot of interest always with Bichon heads. So we did the head. Now we're working on the body and the structure of the dog and kind of trying to set the lines. So before we can set the lines, we kind of have to evaluate the dog individually. You know, all Bichons are not made alike. So this is my first time with the hands on the dog. And if you watch my hands, look at, we got a big dip in the back, and then we kind of come up high. And then we have to look, do we have angulation or do we not have angulation? Because angulation is important in creating the overall profile of the dog. So when you look, I'm going to feel that pin bone and I'm going to draw a line, and it lands in the middle of her foot. A really sound dog, if her hocks were straight, you'd draw that same line and it would land in front of her toes. Well, it doesn't. So I know when I'm styling this dog, I have to think of things that is going to enhance her angulation. And one of them is leave lots of hock hair. Another is to take this nice and tight to give some bend. I know that I'm not going to be able to follow her top line, setting this, setting in a level top line because she doesn't have one. And then with her little front, I know she needs some neck, because this breed's neck should be 1/3 the length of their body from their point, their chest to their rump. That's a fairly long neck. So we know she doesn't have it, so I know I need to leave neck hair, but they should have a nice forward chest, which she does. So we're going to leave some of that, but not a lot. She's got plenty of her own, because the longer you make her, the more neck you need, if that makes any sense. So it's challenging. And then their body, overall, their front assembly, you want to be able to divide whatever is here in half at the elbow and have the same amount down below. So it's at the elbow, from the withers to the elbow and from the elbow to the floor should be at exact halves. When I look at her, the top half right now is probably a little closer to 2/3, and the legs are 1/3. But when we get done, we're going to break it down and make it all come together. So,
well, let's see you do it.
Oh, let's see me do it. Oh, the pressure's on. All right. So, let's see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right in here, and I'm going to let her stack. You know what? I'm going to goof-proof this. Sometimes universal combs are nice to goof-proof. So I'm going to use my new Volt clipper, a 40 blade, and you can use a 30 under it as well, but a 40. And I'm going to cut close because we know we have some serious length we got to grow here. So I'm going to take a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to come forward just about the middle of the dog and blend. All right, so here we are. That's leveling out that top line, but taking as much off as I can because we need it there. Then I'm going to find the ilium, the ischium. We're going to come down here and we're going to blend. All right, and then from that ischium, we're going to take into the bend, and I'm going to come reverse and scoop that out as hard as I can, reverse with my 1/2 inch. And some of my pet dogs at home, I even go and use like a 4 blade to get rid of some of that stuff. So we're going to get that out. Then I'm going to come down, and we got to make sure we have nice straight legs. So we're going to come from the thick part of the muscle and blend. And you don't want to make a little big point. This is a very rounded, soft breed. So you're creating the lines, and you can always come back and tweak those up. But I like to knock everything out with my universal combs. Then we're going to come here in the bend. Going to whack a little here. We want a nice straight line from the muscle all the way down. No scent scissor and all that, right, Jay? Who wants
Yeah,
to
exactly.
All right, now I'm going to come around to the front. We already took a little bit off in our head demo, but I'm always flipping, and I'm going to take out a little V underneath. We're going to set that front under, and what I'm thinking is the shortest point is in the bend. The longest point should be right at the point of shoulder, and you can see that here. So we're going to come in. I don't want to leave a lot of hair, but I'm going to come in and go straight down to the toes. That is a 1/2 inch. She likes her treats. So we're taking her a little tighter than you might in the contest ring because she is a good eater. I learned that right off this morning. All right, now you can see how that starts to give her more neck. This is as much hair as I have. Whatever you have here is what you have to work with your neck. Highest point of shoulders equal to the elbow. Her shoulder is here. I want to pretend or create the illusion that it lines up, which is going to give her an illusion of a lot more neck. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just skimming, blending, and look at the difference in her top line already. It makes a huge difference. Then underneath, I'm not even going to mess around. I'm going to get rid of all of this underneath because she has chest to her elbow. And I'm going to get rid of this stuff on the sides to blend in. Blend right into the leg that we have. All right. And then when you drop her down, we've already got a nice outline. They should not have an extreme tuck up, but I might skim in there and follow her outline just to give her a little bit of a tuck up. And that is a good start to our Bichon. And if you take a look, let's pop that off. Come here, sweet girl. Ah, there was quite a difference. Okay, so, and that's what you have to do to every dog individually when we work with them. Instead of just grooming, it's a lot more fun to style them individually. So they all have their unique look.
Okay, Chris, can you explain to the people at home? So many people have trouble with setting in the ear or the length of the ear, and a lot of people leave the ears too long, which makes the head too heavy. Or if you take them too short, it makes the head too narrow. So can you kind of give us some guidelines to go by?
Sure, I'll be happy to. Let's see. All right, I got all my stuff. Okay. What I did was I used, and I'll just go through the steps. And actually, a lot of these steps are, Julia Stosky does a nice job of doing step by step. But this is, I like to, and this is pet grooming 101 for me, because I do a lot of Bichons and I'm really busy in the shop. So I always set my line. This is a 3/4 inch universal comb. And I automatically come down the chin like so, and then at the Adam's apple, I flip it back, and that's my starting point. So that when you bend the head down, you take everything and comb it down hard, and you're going to use that line to, and when we started, she had a big beard, so we took all of this off like so. Right across, and make sure her head is level to or parallel to the ground. Oh, thanks, Jay. So all this is level with that line that you started. You're going to clean all that up. And then I make sure that I've combed the ears down to that line. And she had ears that hung past her jawline. So I comb it all down. And anything past that line goes. And sometimes it might hang down here, and I just cut it off. Just be aggressive and use that jawline and just cut it all off. So that's all one big step, making sure that all this is clean.
Okay, what about the groomers that tend to get separation between the ear and the head? Is it because they're pulling it back and cutting the hair, or can you give us some tips on blending this in without showing separation?
Well, I pretend like they're not there. And I work in a fashion that I get the muzzle blended in, and we'll take and cut this in an angle. Then when we get to the head part, I work from the eye back. So we comb everything forward like so, and I angle back, and then as I go, we tip this and we keep working back. But I never touch those ears as I go. And you'll see that as we go in layers, we just pull all of that forward, and you just keep working it into the line you started underneath. Working it in. And this was the 3/4 universal comb, or sometimes a 3-blade, depending. And then Jay, once I get it kind of knocked out, everything blended, we'll push this beard back into the ear, and we'll blend that little bit off. Okay, and then the final step to Yes, so that you can build this, correct. A lot of times folks want to start here and work down, but the key to get it up is to start underneath and work
So
your way.
you never take the ear and pull it back.
No, I never take, and the only thing that I'll do is I'll mist with the finishing spray, take a big comb, and the last step is I'm looking for wild hairs, is I'll comb everything, including the ear and cheek, and just kind of flip it into place. Let it fall, kind of shake it out, and then just take my blenders and clean up any hair. But notice the ears never get pulled away from the head. I might tilt the head forward and clean a little in, but I never, never, never separate the ear. And then for the eyes, a nice little trick to clean up the pocket. We do just a little V. Now, this dog does not have great pigment. In the show world, they do this to show off pretty pigment. But for me as a pet groomer, my customers love it because the dog's eyes are so much cleaner. And then you can just come in.
So how did you do that? Did you do that with a blade?
That was just a trimmer, set about a 10 blade, and just skim just right in that little pocket. And then you bring the V forward like so, and then take your blending shears and just soften and get any of those wild hairs sticking out, and you end up with an awful cute little face. I use the same blade here on the lips to clean up the lips as well. I use the juice, our new juice, and it has an adjustable blade, and I'm usually not the shortest, but the next one up. So it's closer to probably like a 15. If they're sensitive, I might go 10, but these are very gentle to their skin, so they
And
never get hot.
what is the width you used? Is it the width of the nose, or how far did you go?
Okay, the thought that in your head, what you're thinking about is that this from the outside corner of the eye to the end of the nose should complete a perfect triangle. So what you're looking to do is to create visually that triangle. You see that? So if the eyes were not set as nice, you might come a little shorter, or if they were too narrow, you could go a little wider. But she's got pretty cute little eyes, so.
What about here, though?
Oh, this? Yeah. I use the width of the nose and just lift and skim the inside of the lip. Yeah. Because that's all that stuff they lick in. And
All right, thanks, Chris.
Thanks.